Honkai's tutorial is trying to bait you so hard to pull for Lingsha and Rappa with the release of this pure fiction. But I will show you that if you just put a bit of effort, that there's always a way on how you can beat this half of pure fiction even without using one of them. But there is a little bit of a weird twist in it, which I will show you in a moment. But before that, I want to tell you that you don't need Lingsha or Rappa to clear this half. That reason that you need them to clear this half should not be your only reason to pull them. If your reasons are that, and because you think they look hot, you got no good sustainer or good erudition DPS because you just started the game, I'm just telling you that it is possible to get those 30k points without them. You just gotta grind the relics, build your characters correctly, and potentially do a lot of runs, because if you didn't get lucky with critting the enemy with, for example, Himeko, or enemy accident attack LIY, resulting in LIY not getting enough energy to cast their ult on all enemies to kill them, yada. But that's what makes a game a game. RNG is involved. And this isn't the best team, of course. There are way better teams. Like you can use Firefly, Robin, Jiaoqu, or even Herta instead of Himeko to squeeze those 30k points. But why 30k points exactly? Well, if you get 30k points the first half and 30k points the second half, you get all the rewards. Or you get 40k the first half or 20k the second half. However your points are distributed, just try to get those 60k points. I personally aimed for a 30k points with this team because it is a nice 50-50 distribution of the points. Anyway, don't feel pressured to pull for someone when you can't beat the end game and waste 160 pulls in the worst case scenario. You literally got 6 weeks the time per Pure Fiction, MOC and Apocalyptic Shadow. There's quite a lot of time to figure out a strategy to get those max rewards. And I bet they make this Pure Fiction buff so bad so that you're more inclined to pull for Lingsha and Rappa. If the trigger threshold was like 4 instead of 6, then I'd have liked this buff way more. Because I don't remember a Pure Fiction where I was like, damn, this Pure Fiction buff sucks the balls. It feels like this buff is made for situations where there are like 1 or 2 enemies left at the end of a Pure Fiction with 50% HP, and this buff just triggers and finishes them off so your allies don't consume a turn. And it literally does no damage, because I can swear, if I remember it correctly, I had a situation where there was like just 1 small enemy left. I think it was, let me see, I think it was this soldier, just 1 of them left at the wave. This whimsicality thing triggered, all 10 hits went into him, and he still had like 5 or 10% HP left. I don't know if I didn't see it correctly or I was tripping. I hope I was though, but it was quite a shame. So why Himeko in this team? Well, I want to prove to you that even with a standard 5-star character like Himeko, even though Gallagher is a secret weapon in this team, it is still possible to beat this very difficult half of the Pure Fiction, which is specifically made for Lingsha and Yappa. I mean, like, come on, who are we kidding here? And many of you may have chosen Himeko as your standard banner selector, if you got to the 300 pulls, of course, since Pure Fiction is the endgame mode where the most people struggle with. It's a way less forgiving. If you don't have those specific characters, you can't beat the Pure Fiction, or you need to try it like a billion times until you get the perfect scenario set up. And the reason why you may have chosen Himeko in the selector is of course because she is the best one out of those who performs the best in Pure Fiction. Or you got Himeko because you got lucky or unlucky on your 50-50. And sure, if you got Firefly, just use her instead of Himeko. With Firefly it's way easier, this half the Pure Fiction. There is no need to make it unneeded difficult for yourself. And the secret sauce of this team is Gallagher, specifically DPS Galaghar, because with his ult I want to weakness break as many enemies as possible to make the most use of this useless Pure Fiction buff. So I went full super break DPS Gallagher. For his relic set, I literally am using these sets to get as much break effect as possible. And as you can see, for the 4-piece relic set, if I have 250% or more break effect, I ignore defense, which is quite awesome. And I can get this 250% break effect because of Harmony MC, because she gives so much break effect to the whole team, and Ruan Mei also gives a little bit of break effect. But I will show you the builds after the showcase. And I didn't experience any issues with going break effect DPS Gallagher because he scales off break effect his healing. The more break effect he has, the more he heals. But unfortunately, it caps at the 150% break effect. But even though, without outgoing healing body, I didn't experience any healing issues. And Ruan Mei, of course, we got in the team because she's literally like a must-have in every account. She has become the norm. She takes almost every team to the next level. She just makes your life so much easier. Without her, everything could still be possible, of course. You can't beat the end game without her. But for me specifically, it would take like a billion tries to get the perfect scenario set up so that I can get enough points to get the max rewards. It is just such a nice quality of life character. Highly recommend it to everyone. If you didn't get her in the last rerun. So that means you gotta wait like 6 months, I think, for her rerun. And we got Harmony MC, but she has a small problem in this team specifically. One, she is the only imaginary character in this team, of course, which results in the inconsistent toughness reduction of the enemies with her RNG skill, apart from the first time you use her skill, because you can choose which enemy gets hit, of course. But those auto hits are all random. So because of that, of her inconsistent skill, I noticed that I could not get this soldier weakness broken. It sometimes went on this one quite a lot of times, wasting like 5 or 4 bounce on him, while 2 or 3 of these guys were still alive, which I couldn't weakness break with Gallagher, Himeko or Ruan Mei. Because my Ruan Mei is built slow, I couldn't get her to weakness break these guys with their basic attack that often. So because I couldn't weakness break them, I couldn't kill them. It took way too many of my characters' turn and it was so inconsistent. That's why I decided to use this buff right here, so that Himeko's and Gallagher's ult could at least weakness break those guys. It is quite a shame though, because that buff is useless in the first and third wave, since they all got fire weakness. So I don't have any trouble weakness breaking them. And since Gallagher and Himeko are the only ones who do damage with their ult in this team, that is quite a bit of pure fiction buff waste. But if you really struggle with the points, use the first one and do a couple of runs, hoping that Harmony MC weakness breaks the imaginary weakness enemies on the second wave, so that they don't consume all your turns. So hereby, the showcase with our DPS Gallagher.
ゆっくり行きましょう。はっ、命はいずれ風に吹き落とされる。アドリブで逃がさないわ。一生コラボスタート。あんたのために用意したのよ。逃がさないわ。まだ分かって人間は星空を掌握する欲望を隠さない。私もよ。
生命さ存分に味わえ。
逃がさないわ。
この程度か。まだだ。
ふっ、ペースを合わせよう。ドリームカムトゥルー。やっ、一生コラボスタート。
この程度か。
アドリブで逃がさないわ。まだ分かって人間は星空を掌握する欲望を隠さない。私もよ。優美な身構えですね。本質は同じ。命 命の花いずれ風に吹き落とされる。いい度胸ね。生命は呼吸するだけ。
さあ存分に味わえ。
逃がさないわ。
この程度か。
戦闘は設計みたい。やっまだ分かってない。人間は星空を掌握する欲望を隠さない。私もよ。一生コラボスタート。ペースを合わせよう。アドリブで。逃がさないわ。
この程度か。
逃がさないわ。はっ。命のいずれ風に吹き落とされる。逃がさないわ。ドリームカムトゥルー。
お仕置きされたいのか。
研究の価値あり。根は巡る。やっまだ分かっ。人間は星空を掌握する欲望を隠さない。私もよ。やられなさい。アドリブで。逃がさないわ。
生命さあ存分に味わえ。
継承よ。ちゃんと直さないと。
Even with my single-celled brain decisions, I managed to get 30k points. So I bet if you did this, you could have gotten way more. So hereby the builds of everyone. First of all, Ruan Mei. As you can see, she doesn't have that much speed because I'm running her slow. For her stats, not many special things are going on. She doesn't have that much break effect, but since Harmony MC gives so much break effect, it is all fine. For a light cone, we just got this one, S4. For the traces, everything is maxed. As you can see, for the 2-piece, I got the sprightly set, so that when the battle starts, she can just do one auto attack, get her ult, and then her ult is active for the whole time. Since she is very slow, everyone gets a turn or two before she gets a turn again, because she loses a stack of her ult and skill whenever she gets a turn. That's why I personally run her slow, so that her buffs are active for the longest time. For the head, we got this one, quite a lot of speed. For the hands, nice break effect. We got the HP body. The substats didn't go as planned, as you can see, 3 times on flat HP, which is quite a shame. For the boot, we also got HP boots, so she's really nice and tanky. Defense orb and ER rope, so she gets her ult up ASAP when she does her basic attack at the start of the battle. For Harmony MC, we got her pretty fast, as you can see, 144 speed. Apart from that, she got a decent amount of break effect. The more the better, of course. quite a lot of imaginary damage boost, as you can see. For the light cone, dance, 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 of course. This is quite the not synergistic thing about this team. I'm using dance, dance, dance on Harmony MC, but my Ruan Mei is slow. So when I pop dance, 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 my Ruan Mei gets her turn faster, which is quite a shame, but I didn't want to change up Ruan Mei's whole build. So I was like, yeah, this is not that synergistic, but why bother? I managed to get those 30k points. In your case, you could run fast Ruan Mei, so you could compensate for that action forward of the DDD. But I didn't bother to puzzle with it. For traces, we haven't maxed everything, so we got to be mindful of these golden balls. For the relics, as you can see, for this 2-piece I need 145 speed or more to get the 20% extra break effect, but I got 144 speed. But luckily Ruan Mei's ult gives like 10% speed to the whole team, so I managed to get above the 145. For the 4-piece, of course, the break effect relic set. As you can see, for the head, it isn't that nice. All I really care about is the speed and break effect. For the hands, we got a lot of speed, luckily. For the body, we just got HP body. The speed boosts are quite nice. Yeah, I went damage Harmony MC. I think the HP or defense orb is way better. I really didn't have anything better. And of course, we got the break effect rope, so she can give the whole team more break effect. And of course, she's E6, which you get free if you play the game. And of course, Ruan Mei is a E0, which I forgot to mention. And then we got Himeko. As you can see, quite a nice 1-to-2 ratio crit rate and crit damage. Her speed is not that much. I couldn't level her to max because we are kinda broke. For the stats, as you can see, she got these things going on. Nothing special. For the light coin, we got her light coin, and I got it as 2, unfortunately. For the tracers, I didn't manage to max everything yet. Only her talent I made 10, because that's her main damage source. And her ult also, of course, but I'm kinda broke on tracers. For the relic set, we got a 2-piece Segonia and a 4-piece follow-up attack set, of course. The head is quite bad. Her hands are pretty nice. Her body, we got a crit rate body to do consistent damage. And we got speed boots, which are also quite alright. We just got an attack orb and an ER rope, so she can get her ult up way faster. And we got our E0. And then our super break DPS Gallagher, my pride and joy. As you can see, he is really fast, and his break effect isn't that much. But since Harmony MC and Ruan Mei give so much break effect to the whole team because of their relics, their traces, and yada yada, Gallagher had like at a certain point in game 380% break effect. And we got this light coin for that extra bit of break effect. For the traces, we got these just 11. For the relics, as you can see, which I already showed you, we got the super break DPS relics. For the head, as you can see, amazing substats. For the hands too. For the body, we just got attack, just to do a little bit of more damage. Speed boots, of course. Unfortunately, we got a lot of crit damage, which is useless in our case. We got fire damage orb, and we got ER rope to be able to get his ult up way faster. And we got him E6 luckily, because his E6 is just so nice, that extra weakness break efficiency. So like I said, this team works. Sure, there are way better teams, but you don't need to stress about pulling for someone you don't want just because you want to get 120 extra jades and waste 160 pulls in the worst case scenario for them. You just need to try to experiment with a lot of things. Like you saw, I'm running super break DPS Gallagher, and he did a great job. It works. So just be mindful of where you're spending your pulls on. Try to have fun. Spend on characters you really want. That would be my advice for you. And what if I told you that I used an even worse team than this? Using 3 long forgotten characters who have been swept under the rug over time in a single team. But I did use them and got half the points needed in Apocalyptic Shadow. Check out this video to see how I did that. I thank you for your time and see you next time. Bye.